My prophetic series, day 6. God is speaking. Are we listening? Prophetic series, day 6. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depth of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. That's Psalm 139, 14 to 17. These are such beautiful words. And when we rest into them, when we allow ourselves to sink into them, we not only see the wonder of a loving and creative God, but we also see the wonder in ourselves and in those around us. We are all fearfully, awesomely. That's what fearfully means. Awesomely, to be in awe of the most amazing God and what he has actually managed to do at the work of his hands. So we are fearfully and wonderfully made. God's works are magnificent. He never creates rubbish. Indeed, he only creates masterpieces, and that truth includes you. Yes, you are a masterpiece created with a purpose in mind by the most loving God that you can ever imagine. So when we examine this scripture and you're saying, well, how does this connect in with the prophetic series that you've been talking about? When we examine this scripture, we can actually see how God created us before we were formed. He saw us in his imagination, made in his image. We too can create in our imaginations. He saw us in the secret place, in his imagination, in that place where he thought about us and he went, oh, I haven't created one of those before. One of those that's going to reflect this part of my goodness, this part of my glory. Let's put them at this point of time on the globe. So he actually literally saw us in the secret place of his imagination, and our redeemed imaginations can see him speak to us too. So I want to encourage you. God not only speaks through the external created realm, so through nature, through the works of humankind as well. So we can see that in Jeremiah, where Jeremiah sees the branch of an almond tree at Jeremiah 1:11. And, God literally says to him, what do you see, Jeremiah? And Jeremiah responds, I see the branch of an almond tree. And God says, you see well, for this is what I would have to say about it. So it's that show and tell situation. And in the same way, Jeremiah learns to prophesy by going down to the potter's house, and God then speaks to him through man-made creation as well. So in the same way, he can speak to us in our mind's eye, in our imagination. Now, the quirk is there is a small part of the population who don't actually see images on their mind's eye. So it's nearly like a blindness, so to speak. I have a friend who says, I can't see it, but I can know that it's there. So that's a different way of actually seeing or knowing or hearing from God. It's a little bit like Helen Keller, who couldn't see, couldn't hear, but when she communicates later in her life, she says, I always knew that Jesus was there. Like that person was always there in the background. So, but I want to rewind back. So for those of us who can see on our mind's eye, in our imagination, God can actually plant fleeting pictures or even movie series like on our imagination. And if we catch those moments and we stop and we look to see, like Habakkuk, who we talked about yesterday, who positioned himself upon the ramparts to see what the Lord might say to him, what answer he might give to his complaint. In the same way, God can give us a sudden flash of an imagination. And if we catch that moment and we look to see what he will say to us, he will speak. So I have a beautiful example of that on my website, one of my blog posts called Seek His Kingdom, Seek First His Kingdom. Give me an hour, it will be worth your time. It's a terrific blog post on my website that shows how God can give us a picture in our imagination and speak through that image. So you can go along to my website, verveministries.com, and you will head to the God Stories tab and search for the name of that post, Seek First His Kingdom. kingdom, and you'll find it there. But in that situation, God says, look, I want you to spend some time with you. And in that blog post, what actually had happened is that my daughter had lost a retainer for her teeth, and it's going to take hours plus 400 or 500 Australian dollars to replace it with the orthodontist. And I was so busy, and he said, give me an hour. And I said, I don't have an hour, God, you know how busy I am. And he still insisted, give me an hour. So a bit begrudgingly, I gave him an hour, and in that hour, yes, you guessed it, he gave me a flash of a image in my imagination of where that retainer might be. And you can read about what actually happened from that on the blog post. So he can speak to us in our imagination. He saw us in our imagination. He created us in his imagination, in the secret place. And we are fearfully, we are awesomely and wonderfully made. And that includes you. That includes you. So this is another way that God can actually speak to us. He can speak to us in our imagination or in the image of our mind, on our mind's eye. If you can catch that, he will speak, and then it's a matter of saying, okay, what are you trying to tell me, Lord? And then allow that question and answer to start to flow. Now, we can develop ways of wisdom in our prophetic walk with Jesus. At the moment, I do have the prophetic mastery mentorship is open until October the 20th, USA time. So it's next Tuesday, Aussie time, but next Monday, I think it is American time. Come join us if you want to for a year of acceleration, a year of purpose and focus, and just accelerating into your kingdom purpose and destiny. So those doors are open until October the 20th. The link is in there in the post. But that is, I just wanted to jump on. I'm going to try to come on each day just to give a little bit of teaching about how you can learn to recognize and respond to the voice of God, because God is always speaking, but are we listening? That's the thing. All right. Well, it's Friday afternoon here. Just want to say hello to my Aussie friends and good evening to the American friends. And those that are in Europe will be asleep, I hope, fast asleep and resting well. So we might see you tomorrow if I have time. Otherwise, it'll be Monday. So lots happening here. I nearly thought about speaking into it. You know, if you're in transition, we're in major transition at the moment with our last child finishing his final year at school. And so there's lots of celebration, lots of moments of consideration and thinking about how far we have come. And I'm thinking actually about doing a free training maybe in November about processing all of those sorts of things to help you identify your prophetic purpose for 2026. Let me know in the comments if that's something that might bless you. Anyway, much love.